Mirko Cro, who was the head of an anti-terrorist squadron in Croatia.
What?
And he's a real murderer. You're talking
he
about
was
a different
really
kind of fucking straight-up killer and an elite high-level kickboxer.
Some blood. Oh, I can't get down, goes Igor.
sleep.
This man is taking over.
He's one of the hardest kickers ever.
And they had different rules for him.
Yeah.
People in the UFC never really saw.
Was that Mark Hunt? He got a bat
They didn't
for a
see
leg.
this
I'm
guy.
telling you.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, he was in Pride.
Does it bother you that it ended this way, that, you know, all this stuff happened at the end and you couldn't go out on your own terms?
They gave me 2 years for nothing. You know why? Because I was the first one.
If you're drawn to the stories
I ain't
behind the
trying to make
fighters,
him,
the
man.
triumphs, and the chaos, hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's step into the world of Mirko Cro. Born on September 10th, 1974, in Prevlaka, just south of Vinkovci in eastern Croatia.
He won Croatia.
Mirko Filipovic was raised in a
Hey man, y'all told me to react to him, so here we are, bro. Another Pride GOAT. Hey man, let me know in the comments who else to discover, react to. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
humble working class family.
Prevlaka is
scared
a small
already.
village with 4,000 people near Vinkovci. I lived here until 1994, then I moved to Zagreb.
Young Mirko developed athletic prowess early, excelling in track and
Look
field
at his
sprints
body.
as a
He was
boy.
already his
first
genetics.
inspiration for combat sports came from action movies. After watching Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport, the teenager
Jean-Claude
began
Van Damme.
mimicking moves in his parents'
That's hard.
garage using homemade training equipment.
Just at that time came the blood sport with Van Damme. When I saw Van Damme, his looks, his moves, I said, to hell with athletics. I became completely crazy about that sport. That was the last athletics training for me.
Same,
I
yeah.
poured concrete, waited for it to harden, put it in a bar and waited a day. The next day I made the other side.
Including a
What?
sand-filled punching bag.
My punching bag was
That's
torn with
dedication.
sawdust inside leaking out. I used to punch that bag for a few days. I would rip through it with punches. I took a chalk and drew a man on the wall. Then I would kick it for 2 to 3 hours. My father used to tell me 100 times at 11 at night to go to bed, to quit it, but I would still go on.
Mirko started
this man is
What the fuck was that?
insane. Out his mind. What? Glad y'all told me to react to Buddy. I ain't gonna.
formal martial arts training in Taekwondo at age
I
7,
ain't gonna lie.
and later studied karate, laying the foundation
You
for his
start
striking
early?
skills.
I was 17 years old in 1991. I remember us coming here as kids. When the tanks were rolling out, they were taking it out on the houses. Every house got 2 shells. They reported from the Vinkovci High School that the classes are organizing to start. Some were going to Zagreb. I got Varazdin. That's when Igor Varga took me in. I spent 6 months at his place. The first thing I asked was, is there a kickboxing club here? They had a boxing club and a karate club. I first went to the karate club right after school. I had to see where it is and what I can do. I didn't like it. That didn't interest me. Then I saw a group of 5 to 6 in gloves and pads fighting. I asked the coach, can I go with them? He said, I don't care. Soon as the school was finished, I ran to the gym and stayed until 9 p.m. I would warm up, do push-ups, hit the bag, and do the practice with them.
Tragedy struck when Mirko's father passed away in 1994. Around the same time, Mirko had enlisted in the Croatian army.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
It's always, bro.
Come on,
Amid the
man.
post-independence era turmoil.
When I was in the military, my father passed away. From what money we had left, we made our father a tomb memorial. Then we were left with no money. I
Damn.
remember it as it was
That's
today,
tough,
giving
boy.
a request for a police academy. I wanted to go to Zagreb to train, to get a chance to fight. That was my ultimate dream, K1 and stuff. And I submitted the request for the academy. I'd go through the entry exams, but I was under the entry line. Mum crying, my heart wanted to break. But then I was playing cards with some guys at a friend's house. Drago comes in. He was looking all over for me. He
Drago.
goes, right now in the car, it's urgent. I came home. Mum was holding a paper. A telegram came in from the police academy that I was admitted. Some link worked. I tried from several sides for people to push me in. To this day, I don't know who enrolled me in. Whoever it was, I am thankful.
While serving as a radiotelegraphist, Filipovic was determined not to abandon his fighting dreams. He wrote to his base commander requesting permission to train with Croatia's national kickboxing team. A bold ask that was surprisingly granted. Encouraged by
Bro,
the
he an
support,
actual-
Mirko embarked on a combat sports career while still fulfilling his national service.
My friend and manager Zvonimir Lucic discovered me. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be sitting here today. When I was in the college, I was making money as a bouncer. Then when he saw my talent and my will, he enabled me not to have to work. He gave me money every month, paid for my apartment, so I was without worries.
He soon joined Croatia's elite police special forces unit, the Luchko Anti-Terrorist Unit, as a commando, an occupation that earned him the famous nickname Cro Cop, short for Croatian Cop. For 6 years, he balanced duty as a Special Forces officer with his budding fight career.
It was my childhood dream to be in the Special Forces and the best fighter in the world. I was lucky enough in life to see both of my dreams come true.
Until shifting focus fully to martial arts after 2001.
You know what's the definition of pain? It's when you're focusing on punching the pad with bare fists. I have to bandage it. My finger joints are all bloody after it. The price of my success is very big, but a lot of people don't know that.
Entering professional kick...
He said just pushing that motherfucker with my bare fist. Like, bro, this man just sound like he's psycho. But back in these days, boy, it's just y'all minds, y'all old head minds was just
Boxing in 1996, Filipovic quickly made a mark on the international scene. In his pro debut, he impressively defeated top French kickboxer Jérôme Le Banner, signaling that the heavy-handed southpaw from Croatia was a force to be reckoned with. Competing under the ring name Mirko Cro, he became known for an explosive striking style rooted in his karate and taekwondo background. Cro Cop's signature weapon was his lightning-quick left-high roundhouse kick, a strike so fearsome that he joked, right leg, hospital, left leg, cemetery.
Full body kicks, left leg on toes, and then body rotation. Body rotation gives power to the punch. The standing leg has to rotate. This kick touches your head.
This intimidating left kick, combined with a stiff straight left punch, allowed Cro Cop to knock out elite opponents even when they knew it was coming. By leveraging speed, timing, and excellent takedown defense, he built a reputation as one of the most dangerous strikers of his era. Cro Cop's early kickboxing career saw him face some of the world's best in K1, the premier kickboxing organization. He was a tournament finalist in the 1999 K1 World Grand Prix and again in the 2000 World Grand Prix in Fukuoka. Along the way, he clashed with legends like four-time K1 champion Ernesto Hoost and Remy Bonjasky. Sporting a 21-7 kickboxing record in his initial K1 stint, Cro Cop was already viewed as one of the heavyweight kickboxing greats by the early 2000s.
Classic. They had some wars in K1, man. I mean, he was in the mix with some of the best fighters in the world over there.
Frustration with K1's financial incentives, however, led him to seek new challenges in mixed martial arts around 2001. Notably, during this period, he also triumphed in amateur boxing. He was a three-time Croatian national amateur boxing champion and even represented Croatia at the 1997 Amateur Boxing World Championships. This well-rounded striking pedigree made Cro Cop a uniquely dangerous fighter. In 2001, Mirko Cro made the bold leap to MMA. At the time, Pride FC in Japan was home to many of the world's best heavyweight mixed martial artists, and Cro Cop's arrival...
Hey, y'all gave me y'all top 5 too. It's a good list. I gotta watch more of them so I can figure out my top 5, but I seen y'all top 5. Everybody really got Fedor at 1. I be seeing everybody list really Fedor, and then y'all say Cro Cop, and then somebody.
Rated tremendous
some people
excitement.
got other people.
Pride was some of the most exciting and spectacular fights in the early days of MMA by far.
He entered MMA with limited grappling experience, but his striking aura was so great that he was immediately put in high-profile matches. To ease his transition into MMA and protect one of their most marketable new stars, Pride gave him a series of special rules fights designed to showcase his striking while minimizing the risk of being exposed on the ground.
He was coming over as a straight kickboxer, and they had different rules for him. The rules for Cro Cop were like you could only fight on the ground for like 30 seconds. They had, like,
really?
Yeah, and if the fight went to a distance, it would be a draw. This was before Cro Cop really had sort of mastered MMA. He really didn't have a lot of experience with takedown defense or any MMA fighting back then.
His debut against Kazuyuki Fujita was contested under modified rules that banned ground strikes and limited ground engagement, including quick stand-ups when the fight hit the mat. These adjustments effectively neutralized Fujita's wrestling advantage, but Cro Cop didn't need the advantage for long. Fujita shot in for a takedown. Cro Cop read it perfectly and launched a left knee that caused a cut on Fujita's head and led to a 39-second TKO victory. Later that year in November, he faced Nobuhiko Takada under rules that eliminated judges' decisions. If the fight went the distance, it would automatically be ruled a draw, which it was. On New Year's Eve 2001, Cro Cop fought Yuji Nagata in another limited ground bout, ending it in just 21 seconds. Then, in April 2002, he took on Vanderlei Silva in a heavily hyped match held under unique rules. 2 10-minute rounds, and no judges, guaranteeing a draw if there was no finish.
Right. Mirko Cro Cop versus Vanderlei Silva. This is the best stare down ever because Vanderlei was his nickname is the Axe Murderer. He's a fucking savage.
He was a savage
champion,
though.
But
he was a savage.
Mirko Cro, who is the head of an anti-terrorist squadron in Croatia, and he's a real murderer. You're talking about a different kind of fucking straight-up killer and an elite high-level kickboxer. That's the eyes of the guy who's killed someone with a knife.
Probably the best stare down of all time. First time Vanderlei got outstared. Fucking straight up.
For real.
Oh, yeah. Looking right into your soul. Yeah. Yeah, ready to cut your heart out with a fucking butter knife.
These special rules contests allowed Cro to develop his MMA skills in real time, build a winning record, and maintain his aura as the early dangers of the ground game. After his high-profile fight with Vanderlei Silva,
that head kick to that dude with that mask on was nasty.
Mirko officially transitioned into a full MMA fighter. That bout marked the end of his modified rule matches. From Pride 21 onward, Cro competed under standard Pride FC rules. He was a massive draw in Japan, marketed as the stoic Croatian commando and headlining military-style promos. He followed up by defeating Japanese icon Kazushi Sakuraba in 2002 in front of a crowd of 71,000 at the Tokyo National Stadium, still the largest attendance ever for an MMA event.
Fucking kicks are so unusual. Speed was ridiculous.
In March 2003 at the K1 World Grand Prix in Saitama, Mirko Cro faced the legendary Bob Sapp in what became one of MMA's most unforgettable knockouts. Just over a minute into the fight, Cro landed a powerful left straight that fractured Sapp's orbital bone, forcing him to clutch his eye in pain and retreat. The referee stopped the bout moments later, awarding Cro a...
He fractured his orbital bone with a left?
To clutch his eye in pain and retreat. The referee stopped the bout moments later, awarding Cro a TKO victory. It was a clinical display of striking precision, and the injury to Sapp's orbital bone became one of the most memorable finishes of Cro run.
Broke his eye socket. Mirko is literally almost 200 pounds lighter than him. Mirko Cro was a fucking savage back then, man. One of the most dangerous guys as far as like sniper strikers.
Once fully signed to Pride, Cro embarked on a tear through the heavyweight division. He quickly proved that elite striking could carry him far in MMA. In late 2003, in only his 7th pro MMA fight, he faced top contender Heath Herring and devastated him with a liver kick and punches for a first-round TKO.
There's a picture of him when he fought Heath Herring. Kicked him in the body, and his body is like, his shin is like halfway into his body. It's a horrible picture. And especially it's that left one, which is, you know, he said right kick hospital, left kick cemetery.
Fatality.
Left kick cemetery!
Cro then made a statement by doing what no one had done before, knocking out the iron-jawed Igor Vovchanchin, a legendary Ukrainian striker, with a trademark head kick. This passing of the torch moment signaled that Cro was a new king of strikers in Pride's ranks.
Everybody knows that the left kick is coming, but for some reason, they can't see it coming.
Maybe one of the reasons is because it's my favorite kick, and I train it every day.
A left, another left.
Bam!
Some
high kick and down goes Igor. Fatality.
Hey, batter. Technique.
Man is taking over.
Get Fandor.
Over the heavyweight division.
His knockouts in Pride are some of the all-time greatest highlight reel head kick knockouts. Igor Vovchanchin, boom! Alexander Emelianenko, boom!
Yeah, but there it is! The trademark left kick, and it's over!
Just blasting dudes with that head kick.
You forget sometimes how insane the highlight reel of Mirko Cro is.
He capped off 2003 by earning a shot at Pride's interim heavyweight championship against former champion Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira. In that title fight, Cro dominated the Brazilian on the feet early, even flooring Nogueira with punches. But the bout showcased Mirko's one major weakness, his novice ground game.
Nogueira can take the bunted left kicks. Good night, and he goes for that one more.
In the second round, Nogueira, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master, took Cro down and secured an armbar submission, handing Mirko the first loss of his MMA career.
Oh, he got an armbar submission.
Yet Cro vowed to improve his grappling and come back stronger. The resilient Cro indeed rebounded. After a couple of wins, he entered Pride's 2004 Heavyweight Grand Prix, a prestigious tournament, as a favorite. In a shocking upset, Mirko was knocked out in the first round of the tournament by Kevin Randleman, a powerhouse wrestler who caught him with a left hook. Rather than derail him, this loss fueled Cro determination. Over the next year, he went on a 7-fight winning streak. During this stretch, he avenged his loss to Randleman, submitting the former UFC champion with a guillotine choke in a rematch.
He's got him. It's over.
Put him to sleep out that motherfucker, too. Okay, Cro
Just
Cop.
like that, Mirko Cro erases the most devastating loss in his career.
And defeated other top heavyweights, including Josh Barnett and Mark Coleman.
This is bad for Mark.
Very bad left hook. Uppercut finds its mark, and down goes Coleman. Soccer kick.
By mid-2005, Mirko had earned a long-awaited showdown with Fedor Emelianenko for the Pride title. The Cro Cop versus Fedor
Cro Cop was
fight
2
in
years
August
older.
2005
I didn't know that.
was one of the most anticipated MMA bouts of the decade. Cro Cop started strong. He stunned Emelianenko and even broke the Russian's nose. But Fedor proved resilient and well-rounded.
Oh man, Fedor
As
is
the fight
Fedor,
wore
bro.
on, he took it to the ground
This
and
is a
gained
crazy,
the advantage.
crazy fight.
After 20 minutes, Fedor won a unanimous decision. Despite falling short in his title bid, Mirko remained a top heavyweight threat. His crowning achievement in
This
Pride
couldn't be
came the
Fedor,
following
man.
year.
Everything is for nothing without belt. Money, everything is for nothing.
Couldn't be the GOAT.
Remember, since I was a kid and all the training, I just wanted to take the belt. I just wanted to be the best. Belt or $10 million, I prefer belt.
In 2006,
prefer belt.
Cro Cop
I
entered Pride's
feel you.
open-weight Grand Prix and tore through the bracket. On his 32nd birthday at Pride Final Conflict Absolute, he faced Vanderlei Silva in the semifinals and delivered one of the most devastating knockouts
No,
ever.
he did. He not
was
Vanderlei.
lighting Vanderlei up. In
I
that
didn't see
fight.
that in the
And
Vanderlei
Cro Cop
video.
wound up head kicking him. God damn, he uncorked that left hook on the button.
Flooring
On a
Silva with a left
savage.
high kick.
Yep, and he was the first one to flatline Vanderlei too. Remember that?
I was watching that fight because I was going to go fight Nogueira after that. How the fuck? This guy is just at his best. It's just
Bro,
absolute.
if you watch Wanderlei Silva and the fact that Cro Cop flatlined him with a bat across his head, you will think, bro, that's like a bully bullying a bully. A savage just knocked out a savage.
Absolute pure, like, explosive power.
Cro Cop. We told the left high kick and said many.
People in the UFC never really they didn't see this guy.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, he was in Pride.
In the tournament final later that night, Cro Cop
UFC
rematched
gotta be
Josh
lucky they
Barnett
ain't
and
see this
secured
dude.
the open-weight Grand Prix championship belt. Overcome with emotion, Cro Cop broke down in tears as Pride officials wrapped the championship belt around his waist. "This is the happiest day of my life," he told the crowd.
My happiest day in my life, definitely. I was waiting for this for 10 long years, and finally I knew that I'm the best, but sometimes some circumstances just didn't let me to do that. After Fedor's fight,
Is that new on the
I'm
best?
number one.
I'm number one.
Face. You never show any emotion. Tonight when you won, you completely broke down.
Believe or not, and I swear with everything I got, I told myself, if I don't take this belt, it will be my last MMA fight in my life.
Damn.
I would quit fighting, I swear. And that's why I said now or never.
Outside the ring, Mirko served his
Damn.
country in another way. Politics.
Word.
He was elected as a member of the Croatian parliament in December 2003. Astonishingly, he legislated by weekday and fought on weekends, balancing public service with professional fighting through the peak of his Pride tenure. He held his seat until 2007.
I heard, by the way, you're in the government now.
Yeah,
You're doing some things.
I'm a member of parliament.
Can you give me some little city or something? Make me the head of the mayor or something?
Yeah, I can put you as a mayor of our capital, Zagreb.
That would be great. We see each other a little bit more.
By late 2006, with Pride FC faltering financially, several of its stars were courted by the UFC.
Today is a great day for me. I'm very excited today. I've been coming back and forth for 7 years, challenging Pride and Pride fighters to fight the UFC. The only two companies in this world that matter are the UFC and Pride. Who is the best fighter in the world in each weight class? How does he test himself? Money is great, it's great to make money, but at the end of the day, what a fighter wants to leave behind is his legacy. So finally, after 7 years, we're gonna be able to answer all the questions we've been waiting to answer. All the challenges we've been waiting to make happen.
What Dana got up his sleeve, man?
Mirko Cro Cop was widely ranked as a top 3 heavyweight globally, so the UFC made signing him a top priority. He debuted in the octagon in February 2007 at UFC 67, easily dispatching Eddie Sanchez by TKO. It was a triumphant introduction, and many assumed Cro Cop would soon be contending for the UFC heavyweight title. At the time, he was such a feared striker that betting odds for his debut had him as a historic minus 1,200 favorite. But his next fight shocked the world.
He basically got Cro Cop, but Gonzaga worked him over so bad before that. Elbowed the shit out of him on the ground. I think he was already loopy by the time he got up.
But still crazy that that's the technique you've been landing on everybody, and somebody caught you with it.
That was a crazy kick.
Did he kill him?
I know.
That was disgusting.
That was a crazy kick too. Boom, shin to the dome. And to see Cro Cop fold and go out like that, I was like, oh my God.
It looked like it destroyed his knee on the way down.
Yeah.
New ACLs needed now.
In September 2007, he fought Cheikh Kongo and lost a decision in a bout marred by multiple illegal low blows. With 2 consecutive defeats, Cro Cop exited the UFC to regroup in Japan.
And the thing about Cro Cop is, I feel like UFC fans, again, don't appreciate the majesty that was Cro Cop in his prime. We got him after a long career, a hard career against Fedor and against Josh Barnett. I mean, he fought some fucking battles. So by the time we got him in the UFC, he had been in quite a few like real war.
In early 2008, Mirko Cro Cop announced he would fight in Japan under the new promotion Dream, pausing his UFC run. He debuted at Dream 1 in March 2008 with a first-round TKO win over Tatsuya Mizuno, and expressed that he felt more at home in a ring than in a cage. He emphasized that his move wasn't about running from the UFC, but about rediscovering his fighting spirit. During this stint, his most notable bout came in September 2008 against Alistair Overeem, which ended in a no contest after Overeem landed repeated accidental knees to Cro Cop's groin, causing a severe injury. One of Cro Cop's testicles was reportedly lodged by the impact. Cro Cop...
His testicle was lodged? What's wrong with this man? Alice Overeem tripping. What?
Didn't build much momentum in Dream, and injuries combined with the desire to settle unfinished business brought him back toward the UFC. In June 2009, he took a one-off fight at UFC 99 in Germany.
As far as the deal with Mirko, is that true that this is a one-fight deal, or is that not true?
I think that's Mirko and I are working on that still. Listen, Mirko Cro Cop ended up on the card, like last minute, within weeks before the event. The whole deal was done verbally over the phone with me and him. He and I started talking on the phone one Sunday, and it escalated to this. And you're right, I've never done this. In the history of the company, I've never done this with anybody, ever. We did this thing over the phone. I've never done that ever in 9 years of being in this business.
Defeating Mustafa Al-Turk by TKO. However, controversy followed when UFC President Dana White accused Cro Cop of breaking a verbal agreement for a multi-fight deal by entertaining a new offer from Dream. Reports even emerged that Cro Cop had signed a 3-fight deal with Dream, though Mirko claimed it was a misunderstanding and that he intended to speak with White first. The incident briefly painted him as an unreliable negotiator, but tensions eased when UFC executive Lorenzo Fertitta personally flew to Croatia to bring him back. By the fall of 2009, Cro Cop had signed a new 3-fight deal with the UFC. Cro Cop's second UFC run saw mixed results. First was a TKO loss to Junior Dos Santos. After taking significant damage, Cro Cop bowed out in the 3rd round due to a swollen eye, signaling to the referee that he couldn't see. In the locker room afterward, a frustrated Mirko admitted he didn't feel the hunger anymore and had started playing it safe, a candid acknowledgement that his mindset had changed after years of wars. He then had wins over Anthony Parash and Pat Barry. However, Father Time and accumulated damage caught up soon after. Cro Cop stepped in as a late injury replacement to fight Frank Mir at UFC 119 in September 2010. But the bout was largely uneventful until Mir landed a knee that knocked Mirko out cold in the final minute. Behind the scenes, Cro Cop was dealing with injuries. He had suffered a herniated disc in training weeks before the Mir fight, but chose not to withdraw. He soldiered on to fulfill his contract, but his performances were diminishing, and then he had 2 more knockout losses to Brendan Schaub and Roy Nelson. After this 3rd straight KO loss, Dana White and Mirko himself agreed it was time to part ways. Cro Cop announced his first retirement from MMA.
To be honest, he was never a UFC fighter. He was a kickboxer. He should have stayed in Pride like Fedor. Well, Fedor did go the other route too. But, Fedor can actually throw punches. Well, I can't say Mirko Cro can't throw punches because he got hands. I just don't know. UFC was kind of different, I guess, bro. UFC just wasn't his thing, bro.
A competition, acknowledging that the UFC chapter of his career had closed.
20 years. I had a long and rich career, and I can say it was successful. Not in the UFC, which I will never be able to forgive myself. Everything was good when I was in Japan, and then unfortunately injury started. I had six surgeries in the meantime, and it all reflects, especially on your head.
That Mirko Cro Cop is a legend in the sport. He did great things over Pride. He came over here, and he was a stud in the UFC.
Though briefly retired from MMA, Cro Cop wasn't done fighting. In 2012, he returned to kickboxing with a farewell event in Zagreb, defeating Ray Sefo by decision. Energized by the home crowd, he re-entered the K1 circuit and in March 2013 won the K1 World Grand Prix. 13 years after finishing as a runner-up, he won 3 fights in one night. Despite being nearly 39, he proved he could still dominate the striking arena. He continued kickboxing through 2014, including a close and controversial loss to Remy Bonjasky. During this period, he also returned to MMA occasionally, submitting Shinichi Suzukawa in 2012, losing to grappling specialist Alexei Olenek in 2013, and then defeating Olympic judoka Satoshi Ishii twice in 2014, the second time by head kick knockout to win the IGF heavyweight title. These performances, particularly in Japan, kept Cro Cop active and paved the way for one final UFC return. In early 2015,
he came into the UFC?
re-signed 40-year-old Cro Cop for one final run, surprising fans with a rematch against Gabriel Gonzaga, the man who had brutally knocked him out 8 years earlier. In round 3, Cro Cop turned the tide with sharp elbows in the clinch, dazing Gonzaga before finishing him on the ground with a flurry of strikes. It was a powerful moment of redemption, earning Fight of the Night honors and proving that even at 40, Cro Cop still had flashes of his former self.
Hey, he got his revenge back though. Stop playing with him.
With elbows from the top in their rematch.
However, just months later, his comeback was derailed by a doping controversy. In 2015, Cro Cop suffered a serious shoulder injury. In an interview, he publicly admitted he had tried human growth hormone to speed up his recovery.
The doctors told me to try HGH, which is banned. It's listed as a PED. HGH is used for regeneration of the connective tissues, tendons, and ligaments. I took a small therapeutic dosage a day, just so I'd heal. I called the UFC. I spoke to the person in charge for this sort of thing. I told him they came to test me, and I gave them samples. I'm calling to let you know I've been taking HGH for 6 days because my shoulder is a disaster. I'm calling so you have this on record. Tell them I have all the medical documentation. The guy goes, yeah, we'll check it out. Then the UFC called him. Then I get on the phone with the guy from the agency for an hour. I tell them, why cancel the fight? What if you don't find anything? You know what he tells me? It doesn't matter. You're still suspended. You had a desire to use.
What? My thing is, I understand it. But my thing is, it's not really helping him win the fight. It's just helping him heal his shoulder, really. It's not really enhancing his ability. That's what I don't get. I understand.
Before any official action was taken,
Understandable.
Cro Cop announced his retirement from MMA, citing injuries and his inability to train properly.
Around 3 weeks ago, I came out and you wrote a post on your website saying that you were out of your fight against Anthony Hamilton and that you were walking away from the sport. The injuries had caught up. You just can't do it anymore. And then after that, USADA comes out and says that you failed your drug test, and then you come out and have to respond to that and say that you told them that you had to, use certain substances because you had a shoulder injury, and then they come out and suspend you for 2 years.
I had a serious injury of my shoulder. I wasn't able to fight.
Shortly after, USADA issued a 2-year suspension based solely on his public admission, the first issued under the UFC's new USADA program.
Even if they didn't come to test you, the injuries, all that stuff, you wouldn't have been able to fight in Seoul, right? It had nothing to do with the test.
Yeah, I would definitely cancel that fight.
Considering how proud you are as a person and as an athlete, does it bother you that it ended this way? That all this stuff happened at the end and you couldn't go out on your own terms? Does that upset you?
That's life, This is a violent sport, and in the most of the cases, the end is violent.
The UFC terminated his contract in July 2016, effectively ending his UFC career. Though it briefly tarnished his legacy, Cro Cop, who had long been outspoken against PEDs, accepted the outcome and focused on recovery. By summer 2016, shoulder healed, he quietly unretired and returned to competition in Japan beyond USADA's reach. Mirko Cro Cop's final competitive chapter came in Japan's Risen Fighting Federation, where he entered the 2016 Openweight Grand Prix as the oldest fighter in the 16-man tournament. Despite being 42, he delivered a series of vintage performances, submitting Hyunman Myung in the opening round and defeating Muhammad King Molawal by second-round TKO. On New Year's Eve 2016, Cro Cop fought twice in one night. With that victory, he became only the second fighter in history to win major Grand Prix titles in both kickboxing, K1, and MMA, Pride and Risen. In 2018, Cro Cop signed with Bellator and, after rehabbing a torn ACL, rematched Roy Nelson in February 2019.
You have a one-fight contract with Bellator, right? Is that still the case?
Only one fight, yeah.
But you had an injury, right? And you had to withdraw. What was the injury and how's your health at this point?
I broke my ACL.
And you're feeling 100%?
Broke his
ACL?
No, I feel good.
Once this news came out, a lot of people said, oh, how can Mirko Cro fight because of the USADA thing, even though it happened in 2015 and it was a 2-year suspension and you have fought since then. But for some reason, I think because it's Bellator, people are getting all up in arms about it. Is there anything that you want to say about some of the critics who say that maybe you shouldn't be fighting on this card?
Why not? Why shouldn't I fight on this card? I was suspended for 2 years. For 2 years for nothing. For a negative test result. For 2 years. And so many fighters were positive, taking steroids, anabolic, all kinds of things. And they get rid of the suspension of 6 months or 1 year. They gave me 2 years for nothing. You know why? Because I was the first one. USADA, they were just waiting for one big name to launch their program. But they got the wrong person, you know?
Winning by unanimous decision and avenging
USADA launched their program off of Mirko Cro. They try to do him bad. That's what it is.
Loss. It marked his 10th straight MMA win.
Roy Nelson and Cro fought last night. Dude, Cro looked good. God, what's he on? What happened to that fight? I don't know.
You said, what's he on?
But it would be his last. Just weeks later, Cro suffered a minor stroke and was hospitalized.
You talk Brian Shaw, man. He ain't on nothing. Just because you can't fight, bud, doesn't mean Cro can't fight, nigga. What is he on Brian Shaw?
He recovered well. Doctors warned him never to take another blow to the head.
Well, guys, if this is good news or bad news, Cro has retired from the sport. He said he had a stroke, and his doctor told him, no more fighting. Whatever's happened and whatever shots in your tip, we're all done with this. And Cro said, great, I'm out, and I'm lucky, and I appreciate the info, and I'm going to inform the sport and everybody now.
The 44-year-old announced his retirement. He walked away with a final MMA record of 38 wins, 11 losses, and 2 draws, having secured championships across 3 major promotions and cemented his legacy as one of the sport's most decorated heavyweight legends.
That his career, his presence, his style, I mean, that guy has a special place in this sport that dates back, oh my gosh, late 90s?
Mirko Cro Filipović's fighting journey reads like an action saga, from a national hero to a global icon, and from devastating highs to crushing lows. Mirko Cro journey was as punishing as his legendary left kick.
He shattered my nose in 16 places, reconstructive nose surgery, 16 stitches in my eye, 14 stitches in my lip. I'm thrown up. I'm in so much pain after the fight, and I will never forget this.
He walked through war zones.
He did Brian Shaw the worst way, huh?
Arenas with the same cold focus, fighting not just opponents but time, injury, and legacy. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest heavyweight strikers in both MMA and kickboxing history.
And I'm in so much pain, I look at Cro and I go, dang, what are we doing, man? And he looks at me with his broken English and goes, this is life. Is
this
it
is life?
I looked down and I went, is it? Mirko, is it, man? And for him it is. Like, this is everything to him. To me it was not. To me it was not. He's an absolute legend, man. I have no business being in the same octagon as him.
In the end, Cro didn't just survive the fight.
That's respect. I respect you, Brian Shaw. You just earned my respect for that because he was talking
left
crazy.
His mark on it forever. Since retiring in 2019, Mirko has largely stepped out of the limelight to enjoy a well-earned rest. Back home in Zagreb, he leads a quieter life focused on family and personal health.
You got kids?
Cro still maintains a disciplined lifestyle. Unsurprisingly, he hasn't quit training altogether. He converted part of his home into a private gym and works out almost daily to stay fit, though strictly for recreation now. Even so, younger Croatian fighters do seek out the veteran for advice. In essence, he remains a guardian of Croatian combat sports, passing on wisdom but enjoying his free time away from the pressures of competition.
If you look at Mirko Crocop's highlight reel, it is a highlight reel unlike any other highlight reel out there.
His legacy endures every time a heavyweight throws a left high kick or a new prospect from Croatia steps into the ring dreaming to be the next Crocop.
That's hard. I ain't gonna lie. That's hard. That's hard. I can't lie. That's hard. That's hard, bro. That's hard. Damn. I know y'all got him ranked like y'all got Crocop ranked like top 5 in Pride. I think he top 5 Pride. Even though I gotta watch other Pride fighters. Let me know in the comments who else I gotta react to, bro. But Crocop, bro. I just don't understand why he couldn't translate to MMA like that. Like, why y'all think he couldn't translate? Like, because he just probably, I don't know, he was getting knocked out. He had, I don't know, bro. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. But I'm going to see y'all next video. Y'all already know what's going on, man. Okay.